So we're on.
Yeah.
So, gents, thank you very much for joining me. We were asked to get a few EBC dads together because it's Father's Day, talk a little bit about what being a father has meant to us and means to us at the moment. And I'm very grateful that you guys have agreed to join in with this. So we've got, I'm Phil, we've got Wayne and Paul, and we're just going to chat a bit about our experience of being a dad. First of all, tell us who you are father to, what sort of ages of kids you've got, and anything about how your family is at the moment. Thank you.
My name is Wayne. I'm the father of two girls. My daughters are aged 9 and 7. Obviously doing a lot of homeschooling at the moment, all locked down at home.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, my name's Paul. I've got 4 children between the ages of 10 and 3, 3 girls and a boy, and quite a handful.
I'm sure. We've got 4 boys, but they're all in their 20s. So I vaguely remember what it was like when they were younger, but for us, it's a little bit less intense right now. Paul, what do you think the best thing is about being a dad? If you had to name a couple of things.
It's probably that every day I tick off, I'm one day closer to them all leaving home. No, I would say that the best thing about being a dad, and obviously with 4 kids, that's not by accident, that's by design. We wanted to have a family, and I'm an only child, so I wanted to have a large family, which I'm grateful and blessed to have. The best thing I think is probably having those individual moments with them, remembering that, you know, it's for me very much, yes, there are challenges in trying to get through everyday life, but I try and focus more on the fact that they are individual people, especially now as they're starting to get older and we're kind of out of those baby stages. Those individual moments, and I probably have to make sure I bore you all with calling out every single one of them so I don't leave someone out, but you know, I have a daughter who is mad on football, and we share a lot of time together, well, until COVID, sitting down on Sunday morning watching Match of the Day, right, or watching live football. It's, you know, we have our moments. One of my daughters, you know, I probably can't pass her without her just stopping unconditionally to be lifted up and you know, cuddled. My son, we have a lot of kind of more physical, kind of rough and tumble play and that development side of things, and then yeah, just the individuals' personalities and the connections I have with 4 other people that are really strong, I suppose.
Great, thank you. What about you, Wayne?
So for me, the favorite thing with my girls is cuddles. Love spending time with my girls, and yeah, it's being able to cuddle them. And for me, the best sound in the world is to hear them giggling and laughing and that kind of thing. Obviously, it's also great when pre-COVID coming home from work and you, the kids are excited to see you coming home and that as well. So that's also nice to come home and that too. So
nice.
Yeah,
very nice. We used to read a lot of books when they were younger. I guess you guys do the same, and having a pile of kids on your lap, reading them a book, and they're all really enjoying it was great. One of ours was a bit more cuddly than the others, and so I did manage to keep cuddling right through till teenage with one of them, but with the other guys, the cuddles were great while they lasted, and it was all over. It's fine. Okay. What about hardest things or some of the challenges of being a dad? What in general, you know, just a dad to your kids? How would you answer that? Wayne, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think so. Some of the challenges, it doesn't feel like a challenge because I love being a father. I do realize that having 2 younger girls when they become teenagers, I know we're gonna have a hands full and have a lot more challenges. I think it's as they're starting to get older, you try to find that right balance of trying to protect them, trying to equip them, but also allowing them the space to safely make their own decisions and understand the consequences with that. But obviously, what's prerequisite to all that, we are always here for them and to support them. And that's as they get older, you're trying to find that right balance. That's, I think, can be a challenge and a juggle. What is right to protect them in terms of you will not do that, or you know what, allow them that little bit of space to start as they're getting older, start making some of those decisions, or how to react in situations with friends, and that as well. And that sometimes can be hard to see them reacting that way.
Great.
Or deal with those situations.
Paul?
Yeah, I suppose challenges. Again, I would agree with Wayne. I'm not sure that actually there's a lot of really heavy stuff at the moment. I suppose challenges are how you manage them as I think kids are very. I'm going to sound very cliche, but much older, younger now. So you know, having daughters, I'm sure Wayne will agree. You know what guys are like, and you know you were guys, and you kind of think about that down the line, and so I suppose challenges of trying to prepare them to be adults, and obviously they want to be grown up in a way you want them to be your kids all the time and smaller. You know, however much you think about and how prepared and realistic you are about things.
Yeah.
No one really tells you much other than the fact that you get this bundle on the first day, and there you go. Get off, and you probably don't really think about it when they're 10, 8, 5, whatever it is, until you get through that. So you're kind of on a journey together. I suppose you take the challenges together. I suppose with all relationships, with anyone, you have ups and downs. I suppose when they're younger, one of the big challenges is your own time, selfishly. And that probably dictates a little bit how things go. Yeah. I suppose thinking forward again, challenges as you were talking about cuddling. Personally, a challenge is that one day they won't want to give me a cuddle, and, as they transition, and probably when they're 30-year-olds married with them, possibly their own families, it won't be right anyway. But there'll always be that bundle that you got on that first day.
Yeah, lovely. I think one of the things I always have, I just didn't want to mess them up. You meet some people who've been messed up by their home life, and we wanted them to know that they were loved. And Kathy's very good at helping them with discipline, and looking at mine now, I'm incredibly proud of them. They've all turned out to be, upright, moral, honest, members of society, which is some relief to me that we didn't mess them up too bad. Great. I think we were all Christians before we had kids, so none of us has had the experience of being a father before we were Christian. But how about your faith? Does that impact how you want to be a father, and does it change, do you think, what fathering is as a Christian, as a believer? Paul, why don't you go first on that?
Yeah, it's pretty tricky to answer, because you've mentioned that if you've done it one way and not made that transition, I suppose you think about how my faith impacts my life generally, and as we were talking about fathering here, but it's not it's a team game, and the core of my faith and my marriage is very important. My wife and I do this together, and that. So I think a reminder always that they're a blessing, and that they're a gift, and that I'm their father. I suppose a transition of my heavenly Father and what that means to me. They don't have another father. I'm the one they've got. Yes. So I feel a responsibility to be the best attempt at that I can be, and be honest about the fact that I'm not going to get it right all the time. I've not done this job before. It's by far the most difficult job there is out there. And I think you have to sort of take it very steady sometimes. I suppose from a kind of a faith point of view, the core of my faith is about love. And as you mentioned before, as long as I'm giving love to my children, yes, we'll have times when it's noisy, it's hectic, it's chaotic, it's not kind of what I need personally, but love for me is sacrifice, and sacrifice of my time, sacrifice of my energy, my resource, and responsibility that I've chosen to have these people, and I owe them a debt, or I owe them a due to try and do a good job. I suppose how those things directly, it's quite difficult to separate how those directly come from my faith, because that is kind of, I hope, how I am as a person, and how my faith builds me that way. More directly, I'd probably look to Exodus and say thou shalt not murder when I'm angry. That's probably quite a good one, which interestingly comes right after honour your mother and father. But
yeah, we got that one on the wall.
yeah, they're giving a little bit of humour as he does. But no, joking apart.
Great.
I think a reminder that they're investing, and a reminder that I've got a support there. So we talk. Sorry, when I'm hogging the conversation, we talk about current situation.
Yeah.
We have challenges with how we should help them with interacting with their school life, interacting with how much they should be able to see their friends, and you've kind of got that. There's a lot of pressures there about what that we should be doing, what we should be allowing them to do, what's the right thing to do, and it's good to have that kind of counsellor, that fall back to of God to try and find the answers, either in scripture or prayer. So that's, I don't know.
That's great. No,
question, or gives any ideas.
Wayne, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was very fortunate to grow up in a Christian family where faith was a very important part of my family, and a lot of what I learned in terms of growing up in a Christian household and with faith, and in terms of morals and values, things like that, is what I've tried to instill into my family. I think so. For me, faith and morals are very important. It's a fantastic opportunity as a parent and with faith to be an example to them, because I think it's whether it's how we conduct ourselves, what we say. I firmly believe that we should be consistent in terms of how we act. Just because the kids are out of the room, not there, doesn't mean we can say we change our language or how we act. At times, I'm somebody that's very passionate about sports, and when something happens on the rugby field, the TV, or the football pitch, or something like that, I maybe shout at the referee. The kids, in some ways, get a bit scared because they don't normally see me acting like that. But I think that's, I firmly believe we need to be an example to them, and also communication is vitally important to create an environment through our faith to be able to talk through things. Yes, we're going to make mistakes, but it's also to be able to say, I'm sorry, I overreacted in this way. Maybe it's a bit emotional, or you lashed out in irritation, but let's talk it through, let's understand. Right. And also create an environment where they can, if they've got a problem or issue, or struggling to understand stuff, or even whether it's, at times we have debates as a family about things in the Bible, and it's good to have those kind of discussions and create opportunities to talk through things and to share with the kids your experiences and your views, and sometimes as the kids get a bit older, start to question why can't I go and do this? Why can't I do that? It's an opportunity to try and explain. They don't always understand. Some things they might only understand when they're adults, when they start doing the same kind of thing with their kids. Faith is if anything, it's fundamental to how we run our family.
Great. No, that's really good, guys. I really appreciate that, and I think you get some things wrong, and sometimes you have to address it with your kids. I think that's great. It's really it's good for us to be real. I have a small story I just wanted to say as an example for us. One thing that's been very helpful for me and Kathy is knowing that God absolutely loves them more than we do, and our oldest son Mark, some of you know, had emergency open heart surgery in Hong Kong a couple of years ago. He'd gone in for a routine op to clear a hole in the heart, and they'd done the operation. They'd put a sort of umbrella type thing. It's about 4 centimeters across, maybe. It had gone into his heart, fed up from in his groin, and then in his heart it opened, and the idea was this thing kind of sits on the hole, and the heart apparently grows around it and fixes the hole without you needing to have more serious surgery. Apparently 95% of the time it works fine. But Mark was just about to be released a couple of days after this op, and they discovered that this thing hadn't settled, and so was actually flopping about inside his heart, and could at any moment cover off the join and the tube, whatever the right word is, and could be very serious. So I was sitting on remember sitting on the train at Epsom Station at 6:45, and had a text from somebody who was with him in Hong Kong saying, Mark's just been rushed to open heart surgery, please pray. And, you know, there's nothing we can do from this distance, but knowing that God absolutely loved him, and whatever happened, God was in control, was really helpful for us. So, you know, the faith, in a sense, raises the bar. You want to be a good example. You want them to come to their own faith, but also just the comfort and the knowledge that God absolutely is for them, and, you know, we look after them as much as we can, but he is much more able to look after them than we are. I'm not sure that will make the final cut, but, you know, hey, we've got it on tape, hopefully. Great. So at the current time, we're living in very strange times with COVID. Let me go first on this one. One of our sons is married and is now, you know, had married 3 years and living happily in Putney. They seem to have got a dog today, so they're happy and going to be busy. The other three, all in their 20s, have come home to live with us. So for us, as a father, what I need to provide for my children now is good internet and good food. And I'm not sure which the order is, but that's what we're doing. Good food, good internet. All three of them are working, so they're all sitting in their rooms, working remotely, blasting our internet to pieces. And we're spending a lot of time together with lunch and tea. We have long, leisurely lunches and teas, and we chat a lot. We always have done that as a family. I think it's a lovely thing to do. And so, you know, my main provision that I need to do at the moment as a father in the COVID times is give them, you know, as I say, good food, good internet. I'm pleased when they ask for some advice or suggestions. We've had a few about business contracts and getting jobs, and a couple of them are buying houses, and but as I say, that's just nice to be asked sometimes. What about you guys? Kids your sort of age at home all day, no school, must be terrifying. What's it like being a dad in COVID Britain in 2020? Anything different from normal?
So, I mean, I think it has its challenges. You have your good days and your bad days. From a homeschooling perspective, I mean, I think the kids obviously, from almost the first or second day over homeschooling, wanting to go back to schools, obviously really missing their friends, and obviously missing the ability to go out and be adventurous and experience the things they would normally want to experience. At the same time, I think the positives in it are that we've been able to spend a lot of good quality time together as a family, which we wouldn't normally have spent, particularly during the course of the week. So I think it's, as parents, it is important to try and stay positive for your kids, and to keep their morale going. And obviously there's a lot of uncertainty, particularly in terms of how things are going to pan out or when things are going to change and things like that. But it's, I suppose, as adults, you've got to try and be that much more responsible. But so we've got a lot to be grateful for, also health and that as well. But, you know, can't wait for the day till things get back to normal.
Yes. Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think I've been working from home myself, so I've benefited from, you know, not commuting into London and you know, spending hours doing that every day. So I would say that with my son, who's the youngest, I've definitely seen a build in that relationship of being around more. In fact, earlier in the week I was under the weather with the food poisoning, and I was laid up in bed all day. I didn't see them, and it was a massive effect on them just not to see me for a day. They were asking and that. So I think that extra time and kind of when we talked earlier about sort of the love and what you can do is having time for your kids is one really big key thing. That's what they want. They want your attention and they want your time. And so trying not to talk about COVID being a positive thing or too positive, there are positives that you can take out of it, and I think that's also a good lesson to them that, you know, not everything runs smoothly in life, and you should try and find the positives that you can. I've been very lucky that they've been very committed to doing the online schooling that they've been given, But there are tensions. We're even though we're not in a situation where we're right on top of each other and we have space in the house and the garden and we can get away from each other. We're very lucky with that. But there are tensions when you have people you're living with all the time. So that's when my refereeing skills come in, and do a bit of that. And I think probably learned a little bit to let them blow themselves out and have those arguments a bit, because they need to learn to deal with them.
Very good.
But at the moment, I think that they're of course missing people. They want to be back doing the things that they know. But I think I'm very lucky that they kind of realise the reasoning behind that.
Lovely. Thank you. Have you got spare red cards and yellow cards? So is that what you use with them, or?
I actually did have a few years ago. I got given a mug with which was a football-related mug, and it did come with a whistle and a red and yellow card. But I don't know where they've gone at the moment. I tend to try and keep my calm. I think that's probably something that has changed in me since I've become a father. It is when I lose it, or if I lose it, it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah. I
tend to try and bring a bit more calmness, so we don't have screaming and shouting matches. But no, I used to have a red and yellow card, but I'm not sure where they are now.
Cool. Thank you. Gents, thank you very much. It's been great to talk to you. Anything else you'd like to add before we sign off?
Well, no, I mean, if the children are watching this, please fetch me a cup of tea, bring me a beer. It's Father's Day.
Very good. Hopefully you'll get what you need, Paul. Ellis, thank you very much, and hope to see you one day soon, actually in the flesh, really. Who knows?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.